January is such a time of support. It's like
It's so
everybody comes
supportive,
together.
and it just feels good. It feels good. It's like my favorite. So I read the Read of God. Are you reading anything that is, like, inspiring you?
Oh, goodness. Not right now. I was actually on the hunt for a new Bible study. I wanted to start one this month. So that's what I'll
Speaking
be
of which,
for.
Bible study. Okay, so another great
Ooh.
resource, and I highly recommend this if you in your town, look at your parishes, Women's Bible Study, Walking with Purpose. Lisa Brennick Meyer is the creator. I can't say enough about her studies. At our church, we are doing a study called Opening Your Heart, and we are also doing something that's called Rooted and Radiant. So it starts with coffee, and we kind of just chat with anyone who is available and comes in into the meeting, and we talk and like for a half hour, and then at 10 o'clock, so to speak, we get started.
Nice.
And one of the things that we sat with just recently was your heart, and that it's captivating and God is captivated by you. From Proverbs, above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. And this is the truth. So it's about guarding the heart, because above all things, first of all, God is a God of hearts and he's living in the heart. And very often we can go through life, we go through challenges and hurts, and we shut that heart off. Maybe we're angry, maybe we're hurt, and that's where our wounds live. And it's also where we're driven very often. In other words, we're driven by maybe accomplishments or doing or striving.
Mhm.
And it really just goes into all those subjects. And this past week, or yeah, it was about this past week, we were talking about it's called Coffee Talk, and it was a lesson two, and it was all about defining ourselves. And by the way, you can look this up online, but defining ourselves and how we define ourselves. So, how we define ourselves is how we experience life. And, do I define myself by what I do? Do I define myself based on what others think? And do I define myself based on possessions or circumstances?
Mm.
I was like, And so she breaks this down, and I love that. And basically, I'll give you the cliff notes. Instead of being self centered, we should strive to be Christ centered, right? And all things from that will flow.
Mhm.
And I just love that. I love getting that information like first part
Mm.
of the year. I'm like, yeah. When we make it all about us, I mean, I feel stressed, don't you? I mean, even though I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna think of everything and I'm gonna get it done,
Yeah.
but then like I'm a stress ball and like no one wants to be around me. So like, and when you keep it all about God, you're basically relying on say, you know what, Lord, okay, help me out, lead me here, show me. Okay, I'm stepping forth, I'm doing the work, I'm showing up, but Father,
Mhm.
I'm open enough to see what you have for me.
Yeah. And it's so tough too when you don't feel like God is doing what you need him to do in a timely enough manner, and you get
Yes.
that urge to like, okay, well, if nobody, it's one of those like, if you want something done right, do it yourself. And so we have that mentality of just like, well, I'll just do it. But a lot of times if we step in our own way, that's when
I
things start
mean,
falling
getting in my own way, I did that for years, I still do
apart.
it. Like,
Yeah.
do people tell you that? Like, "Get out of your own way."
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I have impatience.
I
I could
completely
be a
agree.
very
Yeah.
impatient person.
And I love those questions too that they're asking because
I know.
it's so easy to look at that and say, "Oh, well, I mean, I don't care what other people think about me." But is is that true though? Because when you're laying, there are times
No.
I lay in bed at night and I'm like, "Oh man, I'm not
Yeah,
making."
how using other people as
Right.
mirrors, like,
Mhm.
how are they reacting to me, and is that
Mhm.
truly affecting me? But you know what I found interesting? That means you're struggling with the root sin of vanity. Isn't that amazing? Like, ooh, vanity.
Yeah.
Do I define myself based on what others think of me? And if I define myself based on what I do, that means
Yeah.
I'm struggling with pride.
Yeah.
And she brought up a good point. She was like, now, if you define yourself on like kind of what you do, and if God forbid you someday can't do it anymore, or you get in an accident and you literally cannot function in that capacity anymore, how does that make you feel as a person?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, no. And you can see how this can get tangled, if you don't keep Christ the center and your identity, which is that you are a child of God
Right.
and you are not identified by what you do. And that is a lifelong journey, uniting ourselves with Christ. So it's
Yeah.
sort of like in January, you sort of try to get your head just like a sort of centered, like, okay, God,
Yeah. Right.
you
Okay.
know?
Where we What's the plan for the year? Sometimes I feel like I need everything like
Oh, yeah.
you
Let's get
know,
a plan.
we got to get a plan together. And it's like, well, the plan, it's just,
Plan's good, I think there's scripture that says that, a man can plan his
mhm,
ways, but the Lord orders his steps.
that's true.
Ultimately,
That's true. I remember I was in college and we had this speaker come and she said something that was so profound and I've never forgotten it. She said, "Hold tightly to your dreams, hold loosely to your plans." And I thought that was so beautiful.
love that.
It was so great because it's a reminder of like you have these dreams and you've got to hold on to them. Don't let them go. Don't let anything
No,
happen to
no.
them.
Yeah.
And that can be what you're always working towards. But your plans, you gotta be a little bit more flexible on those
I
because
like the
God
plan
doesn't
part. I
always.
like that because you're not letting go of the dream. And that was another thing I was praying about. I'm like, okay, Lord, you put those, the dreams that are in my heart that were the God given dreams that you've given me. Help me rekindle them with the Holy Spirit, And so these are like the really, I don't know, I feel I have to slow down to be able to even articulate that kind of prayer,
Yeah,
you know?
right. And this idea of just, like, being peaceful and sitting
Mm.
in the silence and the stillness and the quiet, I think, that's what that quote kind of reminds me of, and I really, like I think about it all the time, and I use it for everything. Even when I don't know, I share it all the time with people, whether it be work related or something, a spiritual kind of thing.
Hold tightly to your dreams
Loosely.
and loosely to your plans. I
I really
love it
I love it. I think about it all the time.
because it's true. It's in like kind of the daily minutia that you kind of get the call that this didn't work or that didn't work or
Yeah.
if that door doesn't open or whatever, you're like, "Oh, no, it's over," or, "No, this just
It's like
just get
it's
a
like don't
detour."
lose sight of the big picture, I think is
What's
kind of
that?
like
Don't lose sight of the big picture.
yeah, it's kind of like maybe a shorter version of saying it, but
I know,
I
I
don't know,
like it.
it was beautiful, so I think about it
Yeah.
all the time and I apply it to every situation I
Yep.
get to apply
Yep.
it to, so
Well, and it goes back to, like, the read of God. It's like that cluttery of holding tight to certain things or stuffing, the, material good, whatever it is, um, that you think you should lean on, your own ways, your own plans,
mhm.
doesn't create enough space to make a home for God to fill. Isn't that wild? Because here's the thing, we're gonna fill it. Like, we're gonna fill it, we're gonna worship something,
Right.
we're gonna trust something
Yeah,
because we are made to do those things.
yeah, and you have to be intentional about what it is that
About
you're
what it is, which means, "Okay, God, you come first.
that's right.
You come first. I fill myself up with you first.
Mhm.
I come from there. I
Yeah.
overflow." I mean, this is all ideal.
Right, of course, in a
Yeah, okay,
perfect
okay.
world.
What we're striving for.
What we're striving for, that's right, and
Absolutely.
one thing I love to do at the end of every year, and I'm a planner person, I don't know if you like a good, like, physical planner, but I
I like a
do
plan.
I like a good planner, and I use my Google Calendar too, and I actually started using this is not a paid promotion, but I really love Motion AI, which is a great, like, AI calendar, and it, like, syncs with all of your calendars, but it helps you, like, keeps track of tasks, and every year at the end of the year, I like to go through my planners, and I like to just kind of see what I did because 'cause I'm not a journal person, so I don't really keep a journal, so but j the same as you like to go back through your journal, I like to see what I did this year, I like to see, the jobs that I took or the shows that I did or the shoots I was on or the vacations that I got to go on and the lunch dates that I had, 'cause even I have to put my lunch dates in Google Calendar. And it's just so much fun to like flip through and just see like, oh man, we had such a good time going to get sandwiches and sitting by the river or I got to wow, I got to see this friend a lot more than I thought I did. And
Right,
wow,
right,
I was actually I worked a good bit
right,
this year. Like I should feel
right.
good about that. And so it's just so much fun to do that. And then I like to get a fresh planner at the beginning of the year and just kind of
I
pray
love a
over
good
it.
planner. Like, I go to Staples, like, I make it a thing. Like, I go to
Yeah.
Staples, and I love, like, the tabs of each month, and every
Yes.
month, I kinda write down what you have yours?
I don't think so.
Mine's in the house, but I tell you, it's something that keeps me organized, and
Mhm.
every month it kinda keeps me on top of it saying, "Okay, this is what I wanted to do this month by a plan. Okay, this is how I was gonna what I thought should" and did it work? Did it not? Did it absolutely have God in the center of it? Okay, maybe it did.
Yeah.
So I love it.
But I love to see, like, where I thought I was gonna start the year out and where it actually ended up.
Isn't that funny?
And that reminds me for this year, like, it doesn't matter what I'm hoping for. If I really trust in God, He's gonna
Yeah.
give me the year
That
that
you
I
need.
need.
That
And
you need.
so again, I can have a dream for the end of the year. I just gotta keep loosely with those plans.
I'm telling you. Well, because sometimes I really think God has to work out certain things within us that we may or may not even be aware of,
Yeah.
you know? And then certain things kind of happen. You're like, oh yeah, I kind of had to go through that. I needed that detour to kind of really be ready for what ultimately was put in my heart. But oh, now I'm ready for this.
Mhm.
And I think God brings goodness out of every situation. Sometimes we're like, yeah, but is this from God?
Mhm.
Is this particular thing that's been sent my way? Is this from God? I think one way you can just help yourself with that, and I do this, I pray about it. I say, Lord, I know you're going to be with me in the center of this, and may only goodness come from this. In other words, let me see you in it. And whatever your purposes are for this, let me see you in it and learn from it and change from it, be transformed by it. I don't know. I think transformation is really cool.
I
I
think so
just
too.
don't you? I'm like, I love transformation.
Yeah. I love it. I
It's
love
not that I'm not happy with who I am.
Sure.
It's that, no, I'm transforming into maybe who God has created me to be.
Mhm. Yeah. I think it's just it creates this, like, excitement about, like, where
Yeah.
things could go, where things where
Yeah.
your life could be, and that's what I don't know, I feel like a new year is always just a fresh, bright, shiny start,
It's
and
a
that
shiny start, and I feel like even if you're broken, and we all are, I mean, we're all broken, he comes into the middle of that brokenness, and you don't have to fix it. Like, you don't have to be all cleaned up and perfect before God can start working. You just open up even when you're broken and say, "Okay, Lord, start working."
That's right, yeah, I
I
mean,
definitely have learned that as I've gotten older.
definitely, yeah. I think, just coming to him where you are,
Where you are.
yeah, there's that verse, "Seek me and you will find me when you seek me with all of your heart."
You will find, yeah, there you go. All of your heart and all of your soul, you will find me.
That's
Lean
right,
not on your own
there's no
understanding.
other stipulations. No, you've gotta be clean and perfect and you've gotta fix everything. No, it's just when you come to me with all of your heart, I'll be there.
I'll be there. Yeah. Amen.
Amen. Well, I think, we've wrapped out 2025, we've started 2026. Is there anything that you are looking forward to and excited for this year?
If you're asking me what I am like psyched for in 2026, I am looking forward to being the lightest version of myself. The self that I'm seeing that's coming from real trust in God, I want to see more of her.
Yeah.
I want to befriend every part of me
Ooh, I like that.
because I'm learning that you gotta befriend every part of you, meaning have compassion
Oh,
over every part of you, even the broken parts, the parts that you're like, oh, I'd rather you not show up right now,
yeah,
even that part, and say, you know what, you served a purpose and I really appreciate it. And tell me what your purpose was for me, going into that. Like, I'm
yeah.
loving that. Like, really, um, yeah, appreciating
Mhm,
because I'm still standing, and so
mhm.
are you. After all the challenges that you had in 2025, here you are, and that is a blessing that you're here, So I'm just looking forward to what God has for me and trusting that.
Yeah,
Hopefully maybe a little less time being frightened and
yeah.
maybe stopping that and kind of coming back and saying, "You know what? Nope. I'm not frightened. I'm in my power, my love,
Mhm.
and my sound mind the way God says I am, and so all that good stuff." I know that just sounded crazy. That sounded crazy, but self-control,
Yeah, self-control. No, that
right?
makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I'm looking forward to a year of confidence and where there's less doubt and uncertainty. That's what I'm speaking over 2026. I'm speaking confidence and a year without as much doubt and understanding, discernment. Those are the things,
I know, these are all spiritual things.
these are all spiritual
This
things.
is
Yeah.
like, you know what? So to me, that's like, I look forward to standing in my identity
Yeah.
in who I know I am
Right.
as a child of God, that I am blessed and I am loved, and I just look forward to holding that love a little bit longer than I did last year
Yeah.
and let myself be filled by that and share it.
Yeah, I agree. I think I always set goals for myself at the beginning of the year, so I would like this to be the year where I at least do a few of them.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, maybe a little bit of discipline. I think
Some consistency.
some consistency. It's, going back to being an artist, it's very easy to you have discipline within your craft. I get an audition, I
You're
memorize
doing
it,
it.
I
Well,
turn
you
it in,
first of all, you only have like 24 hours to get it done or
which is
48 hours. Isn't
ridiculous.
that weird? Like how when the minute it comes in, somehow it's official. You're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I got to get this done."
Yeah,
It's like
exactly. Plus
ridiculous.
also, that the casting directors, they'll look at the first, 100 or so, and then they'll, sometimes they don't
I
always
know.
like all of them.
When it comes in, I've been told you got to get it like done as soon as you get it and get it up and out.
Yes, that's very true. I some discipline, but like I said, within my craft, I'm very disciplined. But sometimes as an artist, it's really easy to let your discipline for other things fall by the wayside because we don't have consistency in our schedule. I don't work a normal 9 to 5. You don't work a normal 9 to 5. Sometimes I'm shooting until 4 o'clock in the morning. A lot of times I'm shooting on the weekends. I go to events all of the time. So it's very difficult to plan out, your normal 9 to 5 and go grocery shopping and go to the gym at a consistent time and do your laundry at the same time and things
I
like
know.
that.
I know.
So anyways, my point here is that there's some consistency and some goals that I would really, really like to achieve this year that I think will make me a little bit adultier, and make me feel a little bit more, confident about myself and things like that.
I know. I know. But it's so interesting that with an artist, our one you just said it though, we have the ability, we do approach the work, the understanding of the material in a very kind of disciplined way. We go about breaking down the material in a disciplined way,
Mhm.
for ourselves, I guess. You have your way, I have mine. But when we have a lot to do, you have to make sure that it's not falling by the wayside.
That's very true. Yeah.
But as a see, the one thing that I always loved about soaps is that I lived in a very controlled environment. And when I was working, I had someone tell me where to be, where to get my hair done, where to get my makeup done, where to stand, when to speak.
Mhm.
You exist within those parameters, but
It's true.
I'm being
And there's
really
a safety and
specific.
security about them too.
Huh?
There's a safety and a security about that too.
So everything was scheduled. Maybe that's a better. So everything was scheduled in our life. So you were there, you were doing your scenes, there was a tape time, you had a certain amount of scenes, then you went on to the next scene to the next, and everything was regimented. You have to, because without a plan, you are like dead in the water. So those production companies have to have a plan for the day. And that's then on top of it, I would fly all the time. When I was on Young and the Restless, I had to fly home on a Friday to get home, and then to get back out.
Did you film those in LA?
What's that?
You filmed those in LA?
I filmed Young and the Restless in LA. Yeah, I was bi-coastal for like 5 years.
Wow.
So I had a very huge season in my life where I was scheduled. Everything was scheduled. Okay. So when I came home, I was like, well, it was a nice little break to be away from people telling me, this is where you have to be and this way you have to. But I miss it on some level.
Mhm.
But as far as scheduling but you can do that with your own life.
Yeah,
You can do that with your own life. And
right.
it's really, as artists, we do very well,
Mhm.
when we show up. That's
Yeah,
kind of like I think that drives most artists is that we do love performing the work.
yeah. We have to be our own assistant director
We
sometimes.
have to be our own assistant director and scheduler and
It's true.
showrunner. We
It's
have to be
true.
our own showrunner,
Showrunner,
baby. I feel like
so
when you're
let's
doing
give
that,
you all a
you're
good
doing pretty good.
season.
Then I just need assistants to go do my laundry.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And that's something I'm looking forward to in 2026 is traveling. We talked about going to Lisbon and it's possible I'm
Yeah,
going to Switzerland. There's going
very.
to be so I really hope that all of those things happen and work out and I'm able to go and just seeing so much more of the world and seeing, these beautiful places that God created and my gosh, I mean
I
there's
got
just
to go
so
to
much.
Italy in 2025, just last year, and we spent 2 weeks in Italy, and we went to the Vatican.
Oh
My
my
husband and
gosh.
I renewed our vows at the Vatican.
Stop it.
We were there for the Jubilee year, which was the year of hope,
Yeah.
and set by our Pope, Leo now. This was the year of hope, and it just was so beautiful.
Wow.
We were in Rome for several days, and then we went on to Florence, and then we went north up to Lake Garda, which is on a lake in northern Italy, and,
Mm,
epic trip. I mean, but I wanna go back. I wanna go back to Italy
mm.
and more north. I just was a big fan of the northern side.
I was too. Yeah, we
Yeah.
went to Italy in 2024. I was on a shoot and we spent most of our time in Parma. That's where we filmed.
Mm,
Which is kind of it's near Bologna. Bologna?
okay. Yeah, Bologna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just a wonderful it's a foodie town. It's where
Yes.
Parmesan cheese comes from.
Yes.
And so everywhere you go, they just bring you Parmesan cheese, and it was like, this is yeah,
Fun
you sit
fact.
at a restaurant and they bring you a plate of Parmesan cheese, and I was like, this
Mm,
is just absolute heaven.
heaven. Like, in Florence, you get the olive oil.
In Florence, you get the olive oil, yes, and so we had a wonderful time in Parma. The food and the wine, just every meal I had in Parma was amazing, but like you said, it's, like, more northern, and so I think, I really, really enjoyed it. It was beautiful and the food was great. And then we went to San Marino, which is a cool place.
Mm.
It's its own country that's within the borders of Italy, and then Florence, like you said, Florence was great. We got a little spoiled in Florence. Our producer's cousins own a restaurant very close to, there's like a carousel somewhere, and it's close to the church, the Duomo,
Yes. Yes.
and,
I walked right by that.
it's
I
right
wonder what
there.
the name
It's
was.
right around the corner, and, they have a restaurant. I cannot remember the name of it, but I'll text it to you. But it was, the food was amazing. They spoiled us rotten. They just brought a spread.
Yeah.
It was just the most wonderful
It's
time.
I know, and the gelato and
Oh gosh, the
the
cannolis and the crepe.
Florentine steaks. And by the way, I'm gluten-free, and I thought, "Oh, man, I wonder what it's gonna be like." Italy could not be have more like, so accommodating.
Uh-huh.
It was delicious, and gluten-free pizzas and pastas and freshly made in some places. I had a focaccia, panini that was gluten-free, off the hook. Yeah, right near the Uffizi Gallery, right near there.
Yes.
Yeah, so gluten-free, it's wonderful. It just blew me away. Very, very accommodating society there.
I'm a vegetarian. I had no problems in Parma or Florence.
Yeah.
We went into Arezzo, which is, like, in Tuscany. That
Mm.
was a little bit of a different experience. They were like, "No, the meat's and everything," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I struggled to eat a little bit more in Arezzo, but, everywhere else, they don't put the meat in the sauce or in the pasta. You just get the pasta. So for the
Beautiful.
first, like, 10 days I was there, I had no problems whatsoever getting food. And my sister, she's been to Italy. She's also gluten-free, and this is not a doctor, so this is not advice for anybody, but, she had no problem. She just ate all of the gluten, and
She
it didn't affect
did?
her stomach at all, but
Holy
she's not
cow.
celiac, so I think it's a
Okay.
little bit different for her.
Okay, I'm not celiac either, so yeah.
Food over there is just
Oh,
amazing. I would love to go to Rome one day.
Rome is something. You need time because there's just so much to see there, and then the Vatican is so powerful.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's a museum there, and there's so much to see, so I recommend absolutely going.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I would love that. So I think traveling are definitely some of our goals for this year and continuing this podcast because I've been so blessed by it and
So blessed.
all the speakers. I think it's cool, just reviewing for just a moment. This started off kind of as a podcast specifically for creatives, about creatives, by creatives. And it's cool because we've had people come on this podcast who are in jobs and do things with their lives that may not be considered traditionally a creative field,
Mhm.
but we still get to talk about creativity and how, God works through the work that we do with our lives.
Yes.
And I just love talking about the artistry that everybody has within them, whether it's evident or not.
Yes, and how you can be available to God and make yourself available so that he can work through you, be the reed, the musical instrument that God works through. I hope that we continue to have these conversations that enlighten us. And I know that I appreciate you so much. God bless you for
Yeah.
being in my life. Thank you.
Same to you. I'm just so thankful for you and for this time that we share together and the people that you've brought into my life. And I hope you've been blessed by the people that I've brought onto this podcast. And speaking of people, I was able to be on Dawn's podcast.
Yes.
Recorded it last year. It came out. What's so funny, it came out just a few days before her podcast came out on our channel.
On Godwinks? How weird is
On
that?
God
That's
Weeks.
great.
So I got to go on and talk a little bit about a time in my life when I lost my grandfather and how that grief showed up maybe a little bit differently than one might think I had. And so I was really thankful that she let me come on and share. And I'm so grateful that she came on and she shared her story with us. And she's doing well. And we love Dawn.
We do too. Yes, we love Dawn. And we hope people check that episode out. It is beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you so much. Happy New Year. And we will see you soon. Thanks for tuning in.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.